7 o'clock on the nose.
It's 7 o'clock on the nose.
Eastern time. We are live with Danny Whitson.
Again.
From Danny Whitson, magic.com, live out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, host of the AbracaDamn podcast. Before we get too into that, I'd love to tell you about our score by all lowercase letters and Mr. Interrupt, the Patreon by Tim Roberts, Daniel Polker, Nostalgic, and Natalia Cline.
Natalia Cline.
Thanks to Cloudfire Media for the art and media production, as well as 12 Replay Productions for just being blatantly wrong on every fucking level.
Awful.
You're here right now. We are.
Right now. You're listening.
It's all happening.
Hey, Ken, what are you drinking tonight?
Unfortunately, I've only had water so far, but I plan on dipping into God's Kentucky liquid.
God's Kentucky liquid. That's right. Wishka. And Danny, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who are you?
Who am I? Well, my name is, I guess this is the intro. So this is, my name is Danny Whitson. I'm a magician / comedian from I like to say Knoxville, Tennessee, because people don't know where the hell Oak Ridge is. It's just right outside of Knoxville. But yeah, man, I travel all over the place and telling fart jokes and showing magic tricks, and you know, that's my shtick. I'm the host. The AbracaDamn is the old podcast. And I had it running for a few years, but now currently, which I need to include this in my bio, I need to update this. Just here recently, I've took over as a host for a paranormal podcast called Beyond the Tinfoil Hat.
Oh, that's
oh yeah, it's definitely been interesting, man. I gotta tell you, it's been interesting. Yeah, Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, I was hired by them to be the host, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
That's cool. Beyond the Tin Foil Hat. I had to remember how to spell tin, because I'm from Kentucky, and we know how
what
to
part, man?
There's only one part. No, the center of it, the dead center of. It's not the center. Lexington.
Well, okay. First
You
of
were
all,
in Bowling Green, Kentucky. By
Bowling
the way.
Green. I was just in Bowling Green last weekend.
You're in Bowling Green. Oh.
Yeah.
I was there last weekend. Great show, great people.
So Ken, where are you?
I am.
Aren't you in Bowling Green?
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Ken, you could have came to my damn show, man.
What the fuck, Ken?
What the hell, dude?
What the fuck, Ken?
I didn't know about it. I love the White Squirrel Brewery. I'm a fan.
Oh my God.
I didn't know about your show. When was your show?
It was this past Saturday.
Well, I totally could have gone. I went.
Let's talk about this real quick, because I got to ask you something.
I didn't even know about it.
What the hell?
I didn't even know.
I've been in cities all over this great land, and I have never had this happen before in my entire life. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, right outside our hotel, there was a Waffle House.
Yes, there is. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Swear to God, 2 red lights down the road, another Waffle House.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've never seen that before.
You gotta have 2, baby.
That's magic.
They only come in 2s. They're like the Sith.
There's a good one and a bad one.
The Waffle House.
There's a good one and a bad one. There's the one you want to go. I don't know. It's been that both of those Waffle Houses have been there before I can remember. And it was funny. There's definitely good and bad. There's no story to my knowledge. We used to bypass both to go to the Denny's late at night.
Oh, so you're class. This is class.
Because we went, but as you can see, there's no Denny's anymore. So there's only Waffle House.
Denny's is out. Denny's is out.
Denny's is out.
Only Waffle House.
Waffle House is Bill's favorite restaurant.
It's not my favorite restaurant.
he has told me so many times, let's go to the Waffle House, and I'm like, fuck you. It's because there were two Waffle Houses. There's too much.
So did you go to the Waffle House?
No, I didn't. I did not go. We went to the Cracker Barrel.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
Where we went to
That's okay.
the next day. But
Okay.
everybody, I gotta be honest, man. Everybody was super nice in Bowling Green.
Yeah.
You know, everybody. So and Lexington. You know, you're from Lexington. I love that town. You know, I was New Year's Eve. I was at the Manchester. You know, the Manchester hotel, very nice hotel, super nice.
Yeah.
I was there New Year's Eve. You know, doing a show. And I love Lexington, man. The cool thing, let me tell you guys about Kentucky, all the way up till you get to Louisville. And I'm not shitting on Louisville either. I love you people in Louisville. If you're around, I love you. You're awesome. But somehow Kentucky has kept this clean country feel to it, even around in the city. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's a breath of fresh air, brother. You guys really do live in a beautiful place, man.
Well, I don't live there.
Oh, where are you at now?
I'm in the if you could
Don't say it.
what part of the body do I live in, Ken?
You live in
the country or the
I live in like the toe jam.
He's in
I live in like no, actually
no, and he lives in the butt crack of America.
I live directly in the thought of America. I'm in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah,
nice.
That's right.
Florida.
Sorta.
Yeah. Well, no. It's you know.
Not to throw shade at Los Angeles, but fuck. Jesus.
I like Southern Cal. It's beautiful. Was there last summer. It's a very beautiful place, though. It really is.
Yeah, Los Angeles. Living here is like it's like getting punched in the face. You know, it's a great place. Don't talk about how bad it is. Lexington's all right, man. Lexington's all right. Kentucky's fine. It's incredibly beautiful. It's great. Louisville's fine. No problem with it.
Oh, it is. I love Louisville.
It's fine.
I really I like Knoxville area. You can go. You can boat. You can go climb a tree. A lot of hiking.
Climb a tree. The only thing that's getting a little annoying, in Knoxville is like Nashville has already became this, but everyone is moving here.
Oh, for real?
Oh, wow.
And I didn't think it would bother me before, but now it's kind of like, God.
No,
you know,
transplants are the worst.
Yeah.
I know. I am one of them. It's awful.
I mean, LA, though, is totally used to this, you know. But you have other places in America that aren't. And Tennessee was second behind Florida. The most people moved to it last year.
Why is everybody moving to Tennessee? Just because of the water level or something? Like they think
it's a long time coming.
Not to even go down this road, but if you want to talk, you know, say the truth, it's politics. Tennessee, regardless of what your politics are, I don't give a damn. I don't care.
We love politics.
But
the more the better.
Well, Tennessee is trying like hell to be the most conservative state it possibly can be. So I think you have a lot of your California conservatives who are leaving.
They do exist.
Yeah, they do exist. Well, they're all here, so they've all moved here, and then you know that they're moving here. So
the self-righteous and conservative, great.
My thing is I'm more of an independent down the middle guy, so I piss everybody off.
Right.
So, but
yeah,
I mean,
that does lead me to I think maybe the first question I have is you do magic in the Bible Belt. Has anybody attempted to like string you up to a tree and call you a witch, offer burning?
That's how a magician know that he's killed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're like, dude, they loved me. You know, they tried to burn me at the stake last night. You know, man, I've had over the years, I've ran into those weirdos that really can't differentiate, reality from fantasy.
Right, they're called religious people, but yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Those people are there. I'll tell you one of the funniest things. Not funny. This was actually sad. Years ago, I was doing a show, and this lady came up to me afterwards, and she said, "Sir, can I get you to hypnotize me? I've lost this jewelry in my home, and can you come over to my house and hypnotize me and help me find it.
Huh.
You know, and I was like, oh, lady,
do it?
please. You know, what's that?
Did you do it?
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
course.
You know, that's besides the point. But those people are there, man, and absolutely. And then, you know, another thing, when you look at the comedy side of it, this is something that's not talked about a lot either. But you know, I call bullshit on this all the time. Is, you know, in the Bible Belt, a lot of people do get hung up on language and what you can say. And this is my theory, guys, and you can take this with you for the rest of your life.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think most of your clean comedians are serial killers. So I'm just going to tell you. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. When you stump your toe, you say, "Oh shucks," and no, you say, "Shit."
Then you're definitely wearing people like skin suits if you say
exactly. So when you see that comic or that entertainer up on stage and they say shit or they say damn it, you know, they're being authentic. They're being real. So, you know, there's not a dirty comic or a clean comic. There's just comics, you know, and then you got.
I've probably met a couple dirty comics in my time.
Well, I mean, you know,
dirty people.
There are some, but I mean, what I'm saying is, you know, but in the Bible Belt, you know, they judge you right off the bat if you say damn it, but then they don't have a problem, you know, with all the freak show that's going on in their bedroom behind closed doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of hypocrites. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's that comedy club in Salt Lake City? I've seen it's like the dry.
Oh God, you're talking about the dry bar.
Oh my God, I hate it. I hate it. Oh fuck
I will never be on dry bar, y'all. I will never be, because first of all, I think, you know, like, no offense, Mormons. All
Drink
right?
some Coke. Drink some motherfucking coffee, motherfucker.
They fly them up there. The Mormons fly them up there, set them in front of a studio audience, and then they do their bits. I've had friends that have been on dry bar. I never will be because, you know, I'm not.
You like to curse.
I'm not that clean. But
well, if you're able to do it, if you're able to be funny in that dry bar, I guess that's great. It's just it feels censored, and coming from the Bible Belt, actually, fuck what I think about. From your point of view, being a comedian, what do you think about? Maybe not the dry bar in and of itself, but like that censorship in comedy and such.
I don't like it, because here's the thing, okay? Comedy, no topic is off the table. Remember that, okay? Now, that doesn't mean, though, anyone can make a topic funny. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's different skills to funny. There's certain comics out there that we have been blessed that can take any topic and make it funny. But then there's a lot of comics who cannot do that. And that's whenever they'll say something and you're like, oh God, you know, that was I think censorship,
like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh, exactly. Well, you know.
Yeah, but he wasn't joking though. That's the problem.
You know, that was awful. That guy he had no
Michael, what's his name?
Michael Richardson. I love the show. Don't get me wrong, I love the show Seinfeld. I'm a big Larry David fan, but yeah, that was.
I like Michael Richardson. However,
he failed.
Oh, he didn't handle that situation. He didn't handle that situation, you know. But
right.
Yeah, man, for censorship, dude, it's not. And here's the thing. Also on the dry bar, I do want to clarify. Some really good friends of mine have done dry bar who are very funny.
Yeah.
So.
But now you don't talk to them because they did the dry bar show, right?
What's that?
Now you don't talk to them. Or
now they're canceled.
Right. I never talk to them ever again.
Ever. They're done. Done. You're out.
Yeah, canceling can go both ways.
Right. Canceling spelled back. Anyway. So you were in Bowling Green. Ken didn't see your show because, you know, he didn't care. And
I thought about going that night. I thought about going. I actually went out. I went to a place called Donna's, and because they had a.
Even worse, he was out. Oh my God! He's like, I could have went, but I decided to go to one of the 2 Waffle Houses in town.
You know why there's 2 Waffle Houses?
Why is that?
You need that many Waffle Houses in that the demand, baby. Listen, have you ever seen Fistful of Dollars?
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking the white trash level must be through the roof if they've got two.
You're in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I've never been more afraid for my life. And I was there with like four of my best, actually it was three of my good guy friends, and we were there with a woman, and of course she had to kind of pick a little fight with this dude. And I tell you, he's like the countryest, jacked person. He's like that guy from Letterkenny, you know, just full on, but he was like wasted out of his mind. And I don't know what she did to him or said to him, but he like came up to our table and put his hands on our table and looked at all three of us, and he's like, "You got a problem with me?" And we were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die."
She started. So the lady you were with.
Yeah, she started some stuff. I don't know why. She was kind of crazy. She's
drunk or just okay? Wait, that's how it always happens. And I'm telling this now.
Was drunk, but she was crazy.
It's always. I love females, I do, but I'm going to tell you. Most men were not as violent as they portray us. Okay, most of the time we get along, it's peaceful, and then some crazy lady, some crazy female comes up in there, and then we got to fight. We don't even want to fight.
No, and they will fight you in Bowling Green. They will fight. Bowling Green is like.
They'll fight you. Yeah, they'll fight you.
They will fight. And I fight like this. This is my fighting style.
You know what was interesting? This has never happened before, and it happened in Bowling Green. 3 pregnant women in the audience.
Yeah.
All around 6 months pregnant. I've never had that happen to in a show. I mean, it was so. I know what you guys are doing in Bowling Green and at the Waffle House. At that.
They went to the Waffle House afterwards. Waffle House is amazing. For anyone who doesn't know about the Waffle House, it's because out here they don't have Waffle Houses. Okay.
No, they don't.
To my chagrin, I don't like it.
But you guys have the best Mexican. You know, it will ruin you when you go out to Los Angeles or anywhere. It's San Diego. The Mexican food is just another level.
Oh, it's on point. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm living up in the valley, and like that's all there is, and it's glorious. It's glorious.
Oh my God, dude.
And I speak zero Spanish.
You know, now I'm kind of excited about this. You know, I like In-N-Out Burger. Okay, now I like the burgers. I'll be honest with you, the fries. It's kind of like, what the hell are you guys doing with what? You guys gave up on the fries, but the burger, I really dug the burger, man. And I'm excited that in Nashville, Franklin area of Nashville, Tennessee,
oh shit,
be getting the first In-N-Out Burger outside of Cali, baby.
All right, so check this out. So, first of all, I don't give a fuck, right? Like I don't give a shit. But of course, I went to the In-N-Out Burger. Why? The Big Lebowski. You know,
absolutely. Hell yeah.
That's why you go. And when my brother and I drove through Texas to get here, because we decided to go to Texas, I asked my buddy, a guy named Trey. I was like, Trey, we're in East Texas. He said, get out. Where should we eat? He said, of course, you go to the Whataburger. Now, sir, have you heard of the Whataburger?
Yeah.
I know you have.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah. Litmus test time. In-N-Out or Whataburger?
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. Okay?
Be careful. Texas has a great comedy scene.
They do. Texas is a great place. Texas is a great place. But I think I prefer In-N-Out. Now here's here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now I like In-N-Out's burgers. Yeah. I like Whataburger's fries. I like their fries much better. And that spicy ketchup, dude, you can't go wrong.
Spicy ketchup rolls. Well, here's the thing with Whataburger. So we went to Whataburger, Whataburger, and I was like, what do you want? I was like, I guess, fucking burger. So the lady hands me the 2 cheeseburgers on the tray, and I, being who I am, I grab the tray and drop it. Why? Because those motherfuckers are like 2 pounds a piece.
Oh, they're huge, dude.
Ooh. In-N-Out has these tiny pussy ass fucking burgers. They're delicious.
They are
They're
good.
delicious. But
Well, you know what's? It's also funny. We coming through Bowling Green, Nashville, coming back home, we stopped at Whataburger.
yeah,
And
fuck yeah.
so I do like Whataburger. The only thing I don't like about the burgers, and I guess I could request this, but the mustard on the burger.
I don't think they'll oblige. Texas is not good at obliging.
Actually, they're not.
They're gonna give you exactly what they want you to have.
Some of the best barbecue, though, also in Texas. There's a
Fuck
lot
yeah.
of good stuff in Texas.
I like Astro Burger. It's probably one of my favorite burger
You know,
places.
I've not had that.
What's an
It's in LA. It's a burger chain.
Oh, like
And
a
there's
Jack in
also
the
a
Box?
place in LA that's great called Good Stuff that is really incredible.
I really haven't been anywhere. Anyway, why are we talking about me?
We're talking about
comedy.
food on the Geeky Gamer podcast.
Yeah, food is important. Without food, you can't game.
So
You cannot game.
I'm really interested in comedy. What do you think about Kill Tony?
I love watching it. It's entertaining as hell watching it.
As people don't know, a lot of people don't know about it. Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, basically, you know, it's it's kind of like you've been to an open mic, you know, and it's like the best kind of open mic because you know it's dictated by the audience. You know, and you got comics that'll come in there. A lot of new comics they'll come on for the first time, and you know they're kind of rated and judged by a panel. You got Tony Hinchcliffe and you sometimes see Joe Rogan on there. You know several guys
and all of his friends.
Tom Green.
Yeah, the whole Joe Rogan clique. So but there's been some great comics, some great super talent that's popped up there. That it's gonna be exciting to see what how they evolve.
Now, have you ever thought about going on?
Not really. I like to watch it, but kind of like where I'm at right now. I don't think it would. It
wouldn't help.
Wouldn't help exactly.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just. You kind of take advantage of the way things are, and you kind of get to a point to where you just, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to put my stain on the universe, and then, go out like that.
Well,
I think for people starting out, Austin is the place you got to be.
Yeah, tell us, how did you start in comedy and magic and the whole spiel?
Well, with me, I first got into, I kind of got into magic as a late bloomer for most magicians. Most magicians get like the magic kit as they're a kid, and they go on from there. I was probably, in my early 20s, and I rolled into a brick and mortar magic shop. The magician fooled me, and I was like, God, I got to learn this stuff. So, he threw a book at me, and then it was, off to the races from there. After probably a few years of studying a lot of close-up magic, because that's where most magicians all begin, a lot of close-up card tricks.
Now, what do you mean?
Card tricks, coin tricks, a lot of stuff like that, and then you kind of get the nerve. And I discovered busking, street performing.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd set out and I would do some street shows, and that's where I learned so much. I mean,
Ken's into busking. He goes out. Yeah, he's a musician. He does the voice music.
I don't.
He does impromptu dance on the street sometimes.
Nice. Well, I've seen a lot of groovy acts. The cool thing about busking, though, man, is it teaches you how to be engaging with an audience. Because if they don't like you, man, they can just leave.
Yep.
So when a busker you have to get the people to watch your show, then pay you afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Right.
I mean, you're out there working for tips. So I did that, and then I discovered let's try stand up. Went to the local comedy club.
In
hit
Tennessee?
the open mic. Yes, in Knoxville.
Okay.
And hit the open mic there, and showed up as the magician. Did the magic show at first. Then I realized soon that you can't learn. Sorry about that. You can't learn stand up by doing magic or by playing a guitar or molesting a puppet. There's the only way that you can truly learn stand up is by setting up there, bearing your soul, and telling your shitty jokes.
You have to have jokes.
Yeah. Well, I did that for about 2 years with no magic, just doing stand-up, learning the craft, and then I was able to eventually to meld the two together and make them work, which is not easy, by the way, because a good magic is bullshit and good comedy is telling the truth.
It sounds like those 2 years you were quote unquote learning the craft. Are you saying that you were bombing?
Oh, well, of course, dude.
Well, you got to bomb before you got to fail before you can succeed.
Absolutely. Here's the reason. This is the thing about comics, okay? This is why you're going to meet some of the most humbled human beings on the planet, is because a comic, unlike most people, and nothing against people who are not comics, but you don't understand this until you've been truly humbled. Comedians have been. You know, most people don't have self-awareness. Most people don't step outside of their own body and take a look at everything that's wrong with them and find the funny in it. But yeah, I bombed. I you know, and it was even more difficult because I remember the first show I ever bombed on was called the Giggle Before You Gobble. It was a freaking it was a Thanksgiving.
I feel like they set the bar pretty low on that.
it was awful, dude. It was Thanksgiving. It was the night before Thanksgiving, and it's what we call a bringer show in comedy. Okay, bringer shows or means every comic's supposed to bring like family members, so we have a packed out house.
Yeah, I had a band. I know what that is.
There was like 11 of us on this show, and I was number 11. And I thought, I'm headlining, baby. I'm gonna kill. You know?
Oh, no.
So yeah, I go up there. Dude,
everybody was gone.
I ate a bag of balls. It was awful. And dude, it even the crickets. You could hear the crickets getting up and leaving. They were like, "Fuck this."
It wasn't like a band show where like you brought your friends to your show, and like you're playing last. Everybody like has a great time, enjoys their set. The band gets off the stage, crowd like splits.
Oh, you have those too. I mean, yeah, those things happen too all the time. You're like, it's my turn, and no one's there.
Gone.
You know,
or just get smaller each comic that leaves. There's less.
So what happened in this bomb?
Well, I'm sitting there telling my jokes, and I'm getting nothing. I'm bombing. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I can entertain you people. I can just reach in my back pocket and grab a deck of cards or something. But I knew if I did that, I wouldn't learn anything.
Sure.
I wouldn't. So I just had to sit up there and eat it, man. And, there's that whole walk of shame, where you have people coming up to the comics that did well, and they're like, oh, man, you're so funny. And they just overpass you as they look at you. And,
they walk past you.
It's horrible. So, yeah, that ride home. I'll never forget that ride home. But anyways, yeah, man, you have.
Well, how'd you deal with that? How'd you deal with that though? Because I won't lie, like, I deal with the existential crisis, as do we all. The horrible spiral of, looking into the black and the black looks back at you. I know what that is. Something like that has the potential to send me, to catapult me, nay, to trebuchet me into a bad. So how did you do it?
I mean, it definitely can. There's people who I've seen people get up there and they bombed and you never heard from them ever again.
They're gone.
What happened to that guy? But then there's people, I guess, that are love the punishment. That come back. And you come back, and eventually you figure it out. That's the thing with also, people will try to say, well, try this or try that, but realistically, you're alone. You got to figure it out yourself and what works. Yeah,
an experience skill.
How'd you get up the first time? I mean, that's a lot of people's biggest fear. Getting in front of an audience. I don't like it. I don't mind, like, radio I'm fine with. What we're doing is fine because there's nobody watching. And even if there were a lot of people, they, I don't see them directly in front of me. It doesn't matter.
What I'm doing is not dictated by them laughing.
What I tell people is get over yourself. It's that simple, bro. It's that simple. You're not that special. I mean, so
I love it.
When you get up there, people, really? No, dude, no one gives a shit. No one cares. So, but I mean, but people can't get that out of their head. Like you've heard the saying, imagine your audience naked. Well, I'll tell you why that doesn't work, because then I feel like everyone's staring at my erection. So I can't, it doesn't work. Yeah, but no, seriously, if you just get over yourself, you do a lot better than what you realize.
It seems like there should be a caveat here, though. So, for example, if I wanted to get on stage, but I don't have any material. I dated a girl once, and then I was over girls. She's this French chick, and it was an open mic thing, and they were like, "Hey, we're all out of comics. Does anyone want to come up on stage and just try it out for a few minutes?" So she's on stage for like 15 fucking minutes. Why? Because at first it's hilarious. She's French. She's like, I am French. Okay. And she does the whole accent thing, and she's hilarious because it's just funny. But then you realize she's got nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
And it's awful for like 8.5 minutes until the dude has to like coat hanger her off, and she's my girlfriend. I'm like, fuck. So if you don't have material, right?
First of all, there's something to be said about any type of British accent or European accent in America. That what even they have to say may not even be funny, but we'll laugh at it because of the accent. Now, when I'm out west, my accent works for me to an advantage. Or up north, if I'm far up north, it works to my advantage.
Yeah.
So that
blue collar.
You gotta have material.
Ron White, baby.
I mean, yeah, you gotta have material, and the when people can get up and you can talk shit for only so long, but that stops after a minute.
Right.
And the older I've gotten, the easier I find it is to write new material. And it's because here's the thing, man. A comic all the time, 24/7. Comics they're looking around for material. Everything is material to a comic. So there's times I've heard things happen to friends of mine, and I'm jealous. I'm like, son of a bitch. I wish that would have happened to me. So and you think of it, the older you are, the longer you're here, the more crap you've experienced. I'm not saying that there's no funny 22-year-old comics. I'm not saying that at all. But I think it's a little more difficult for a 22-year-old to have really great an hour special, when they, you've been in you hadn't been here that long. So
it's interesting. That's interesting. Well, I mean, and I don't want to. This is going to derail it. Why do I even have a disclaimer? I think about like Dave Chappelle, who back in Chappelle Show style. I really like Chappelle Show. Of course, everybody liked Chappelle Show, but he's, in my opinion, far superior now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's got his whole vibe is almost as though he's really just giving advice, and it happens to have jokes in it.
Absolutely.
Whereas beforehand, when he's on like the talk shows and Letterman and whatnot, I think he was on Letterman.
I'd be shocked if he didn't get on Letterman.
He was in the 90s, and it was much more about bits. And actual just jokes and sort of a personality. And then after he gets back into stand-up, it's not about that anymore. I struggled with that for a while, actually. Like wanting Dave Chappelle to be not jacked and not having smoked a lot of cigarettes. It's interesting about experience.
But
so, yeah, go on.
Well, he had that time off. He had a lot of time off. And now, first of all, we live in a time that that comics are coming out with hour specials about every 6 months. It feels like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Which, to be honest with you guys, that's very unrealistic to be able to keep cranking out quality hours one right after the other.
Well, and they don't. They don't.
Exactly. Bingo. They don't. They will be that one quality hour. And then have you noticed you're like, oh, I enjoyed that guy. Let's go watch this one. Well, it's not as good as the other one. And then the other one's not as good as that one. It's because it's very difficult. When you look back in the day of Pryor and Carlin that was cranking out these specials. That shows you how special those guys were. You know, those guys really were on this other level. So when I look at Dave, I think Dave is on that level of those guys. I really do. Now, like I said, he had a lot of time off to do a lot of writing and a lot of stuff. But I mean, the way he structured those specials, oh man, genius. You know, just really absolute genius.
Really good. Ken, did you have any questions? I'm sorry.
No, I enjoyed Chappelle's. I appreciated. I get a little flack on this program for being the more liberal of the two of us, and I thought what he said was great. I mean, I think we need to speak up and say things that we're thinking about if we can't communicate. And so one of my shticks is like using canceled, you know, as a liberal. I think that's funny because I'm not canceling people. I'm doing the opposite and want to be canceled for saying my views, which are
he's the
sort of the goal in life.
Goal in life.
But you know, I'll use snowflake. I'll use all the terms, and I think what was refreshing, and the same with Jon Stewart's some of the stuff he says, is, you know, it's funny when you can call out both sides for everything because you're not limiting yourself, and you're not like anytime that you don't fall in line with whatever other people are saying, you're gonna piss some people off, and that's great.
Absolutely,
you go for it.
I'm just, well, you know, you've got, first of all, so you're more the conservative, you're more the liberal, which I love the fact that you guys can do a show together. That's amazing, and be friends. I love that, you know, because I've got conservative friends, I've got liberal friends, and you know, like I said, there's a lot of things I'm very liberal on, and there's things I'm conservative on.
Well, exactly, that's what it is.
So it's just, you know,
welcome to Kentucky, welcome to Tennessee. I mean, like how are you going to do that?
Just schizophrenic weather and everything.
You know, there's moments. One thing with me is, you know, I'm a big supporter of. And here's the thing: I'm a big supporter of the LGBTQ. I've got a gay son, and he was born gay. You know, I'm not gay, but my sperm is gay as hell.
You ordered a gay man.
Congratulations.
He came shooting out, you know, like a Skittles commercial. He
hey, I understand.
But exactly. But I love him, you know, and wouldn't change a hair on his head. So I'm a big supporter there. But at the same time, I do have some opinions about. I get annoyed the way they try to lump sexuality and gender and everything in the same bucket, and it's absolutely not. You know. You know, I believe
heterosexual buckets. I understand.
Well, I mean, you know, it's just, you know, you try to lump everything in the same group, you know. So it's and it's not. You know, you can't slap one label for everything. Everything has gray area. Yeah. There's a gray area in everything. Yeah. Everything.
But that's my big issue with conservatism is that, you know, I thought it was supposed to be the group that like hands off, you know. Let us do whatever we want.
Yeah.
That is the big and not to go there, but I think the
not to go there. You are going there. Go there. Go there for it.
What's interesting? Well, you know, I know you guys probably haven't heard about this, but you know, Tennessee, like I said, is okay. First of all, you know how like far left Oregon, Washington State is in that area. That part of the country is extremely.
It depends on who you talk to. Who you talk to. It's also the state where they took over a park area with guns and.
Well, that happened too. That did happen too. Sure. But Tennessee is like the opposite of that in conservativeville is what they're trying to do. And like right now they're trying to pass this law of the anti-abortion law to where an adult cannot aid a minor across the border to get an abortion. Now, okay, I get it. You're trying to protect in the paper form, you're trying to protect that minor. What if that minor's being molested by her father? What if she was raped by you know what I mean, by her guardian? You know, I mean,
that requires thinking, Danny.
Absolutely. So that's my point. Is it's gray area. You know, there's no black and white issue with anything out there.
But there are black and white issues. Is the thing when you're dealing with ideologues, okay? And the thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm preaching to the choir here, I'm pretty sure. But the idea of if I have this stipulation, right? If I have a code, if I say, okay, well, I believe this thing is the absolute whatever. Ergo, I am a Sith, right? Because only the Sith deal in absolutes. Then my rationale goes out the window, and I am able then, because of my ideology, to commit or allow acts that are awful to be committed, despite myself. This is a Christopher Hitchinson thing.
Yes.
That entire idea of good people allowing very bad shit to occur despite themselves because they have this, yeah, but what if? And that's the thing, like you gotta think. I mean, all the stuff you just said. So they're gonna penalize, you're saying, right? I don't know if it's law. They're gonna penalize adults for aiding, quote unquote, minors across the border. Why are conservatives all about the border? Why is it all the border?
That's a lot.
You know what?
That's a lot.
Another thing on the border. I mean, that's something. That's a whole nother topic. But
That's a lot.
We need a wall between Kentucky and Tennessee.
Build the wall. Yeah.
My family, we grew tobacco, and my grandfather is kind of famous for bringing alcohol to Bowling Green, Kentucky. That was his claim to fame. Is it was a dry area, and he lobbied in the 50s to bring alcohol to this area. So my first experience with migrants was when I was very young, drinking bourbon on the tobacco farm. And we, if you know farmers who are typically very conservative, there are a lot of benefits we get from this, but it's such a weird place to be, because you gotta frighten people. That's the point of the border. You have to be frightened, and I think there should absolutely be security. There are too many people that want to wage war on America.
Are we talking about
at any
Kentucky?
given second? No, in America, in Kentucky,
Canadian border. I know. Those
farmers.
motherfuckers.
If the Canadians, they're bitter
God
people.
damn.
It's the cold. It's
The great
terrible.
white north.
I have to deal with them
Swear.
constantly. I work on the podcast Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. I deal with two Canadians, so
I think if I'm going to be racist, it's going to be
I hope
against
they're
Canada.
watching.
Fucking
I hope they're
Canadian.
watching this.
Canada. So tell us a little bit about the Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, because it sounds to me for some reason like Coast to Coast. I'm assuming
Absolutely.
it's not. It is.
It's very similar. Here's the thing I'll tell you too. Also, being a magician. Okay, magicians don't believe in anything fun. The majority of the magicians that you meet, because of the history of Harry Houdini exposing mediums in his day, it set off this whole trend, and also that we know the secrets, we know how to trick people, so we're not easily duped, kind of thing. So I used to be one of those guys. I didn't believe in anything fun. I was an atheist, the whole 9 yards. Not saying every magician's an atheist, but most of them don't believe in psychic phenomena, any of this stuff. And I met Ryan Stacy. He's a paranormal investigator, a private investigator from Canada. And he just has a resume this long. You guys done a lot of stuff. And I had him on the AbracaDamn podcast, and he opened my mind to the UFO phenomena. Now, I don't know if you guys follow it at all.
Do you watch the Y Files?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great podcast, too. That's a great podcast. I love the way he approaches things.
I love it.
I love the way he approaches it. But Ryan really opened my mind, and I got to looking and doing some, studying, investigating my own. And most of the time, the best thing that I can come up with are the words, "that's interesting." Now, granted, I wasn't there. I didn't witness it. That's the best I can ever go. Sometimes I do see stuff, and I'm like, well, that is total bullshit. I could do that. I could fake that. Now, but anyways, since the mine's been opened, I've started, a host of Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. I've talked to some very interesting people, and I've talked to some people that are way out there too. So, but it's very interesting. Let me just say that.
So, Bill and I, we were talking, and I was in this very room that I'm in right now.
Oh yeah,
and it was
that behind over his right
creepy.
shoulder.
It was one of the creepiest things that happened in my life. My grandfather, his ashes are right there. I'm in his house. I take care of my grandmother, or help take care of my grandmother. She's 95 years old. But one of the first times we did this, we had an extraordinarily devil worshipy show. And because we run a podcast on Mondays called The Red Writ, and it's like a horror Cthulhu podcast.
Film noir,
Nice.
Film noir, definitely detective, hard-boiled detective meets Squidward. But there was a lamp, like a chandelier, that crashed down. It was the loudest thing, scared the shit out of me. And it was like the first thing I thought of, it's my grandmother or grandfather, like mad because I'm doing this podcast in the room.
Wait, you know what, man? Here's the thing, and I don't want to get cheesy or anything here, but I am a firm believer that your loved ones, if you're aware, if you keep your eyes and ears open and pay attention, they are with you. Based on my own experience, I'm a big believer in that. Also, I wanted to say, no offense to your grandparents' house, but I was like, my God, this guy is an interior designer to update his background, because
it has not changed since I think they built this house in 1960.
I feel like my dad is 7 in that background somewhere. That's how.
True. Your dad is 7 in the background right here. That's correct.
But no, first of all, dude, kudos for you for taking care of your grandmother, man. That's badass, brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, man,
team.
Stuff like that. I'm a total believer just based off my own experiences. So, and sometimes even in my show, I make fun of it a little bit because my wife's a big my wife's really into the paranormal investigating. So I do make fun of it a little bit, but at the end of the day, dude, I believe. I do. I believe 100%.
Mm-hmm. Every time I see a blue jay, I think of my great grandmother, which is even weirder. Like that her soul and is in all of the blue jays that I see. For some reason, it's like checking in on me.
Isn't that weird that we do
It
that?
is so weird. Yeah. I mean, and I'm about as atheist as you could get. It's so weird.
I mean, there's something weird about it, and like I said, I don't know, what happens or what the rule book is or any of these things. But I've talked to enough people, and like I said, I've had my own personal experiences that something's going on. There's something, and one thing on the tinfoil hat that we like to do, and I didn't like this at first when I first. Ryan believes that everything's connected somehow. All this UFO is, and I was like, man, I don't like to mix my beans and my mashed potatoes, bro. I don't know about that. I like to keep my crazies all separate. But now that I'm kind of seeing some of that, on a conscious level, who knows, man. But definitely, you guys need to check out some episodes because we've got some really good ones coming out on the pipelines. Hell, I'd have you guys on sometime. I'm always down to tell some stories too. I love to hear some stories.
I got a story.
Wild.
You want to hear a story real quick?
Yeah, let's hear a story.
I can tell it later too. All right, so by the way, Ken, I sent you a message.
I got it.
A secret message.
Secret message.
One of our people. We'll be surprised if it happens. Anyway, Okay, so I used to live in China for a while.
Nice.
And when I went there, I was fucking around, bipping and bopping to different cities and such. And I wanted to hit up Beijing. I'd gone into Hong Kong and Shanghai and out west to Chengdu and all these different cities and such. And I went and saw the Terracotta Warriors in Xi'an, and I was like, I need to hit up Beijing before I leave. Little did I know that I would actually get to Beijing, like find some best friends, date that French girl I was talking about, and stay for several years. But I did not know that at the time. So I book a flight. I get one of my Chinese friends to book the flight because it's all in Chinese, and I do not speak Chinese at this point. Hit up Beijing. Boom. Bam, bam, bam. On the flight. It's late as fuck. We're going to arrive at like midnight 30 or so, right? So it turns out in Beijing, at about 11, things shut down. This is 2010, so it was a little bit more conservative for anyone who's listening from Beijing, where they actually go out now. But at the time, they did not. Everything shuts down. There's nothing, no subway, no fucking Amtrak, no buses. Boom. Only taxis. So I get out, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even have a place to stay. I just need to find a hostel. I had this little card, right, for a hostel. And I was like, okay, it's all in Chinese. I'm assuming that's an address in Beijing. So I get a taxi. Boom. Shh. We go around. Taxi drops me off at this bus, airport bus transport thing. I don't know what they call it. Flyaway zone. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where like the airport will take you to a location and just kind of drop you off. Like you have to know where you're going. So I'm on this thing, on this bus with all my shit. I got my guitar, got my 2 fucking suitcases, all these Chinese people who know where they're going. It's all in Chinese. In Beijing, the accent sounds like a lawnmower. So it's like, that's how they sound. And they're like coming through the, the PA, and they're saying what street it is. I got no idea where I'm going. We're sitting there, we make a stop. Sit there a little bit too long, and everyone turns and looks at me. And I'm like, this must be my stop. So I get up, grab my shit. They're like, oh yeah, this is your stop. This is all sign language. I get out, boom, all right, bye. Bus is gone. I am in Beijing on like a lifted highway, these huge highways. It's all concrete jungle, high rises and everything in the middle of the city. No clue where I am. It's about 1 a.m. I look, there's a bus stop. This is where they've let me off. Everything's dark. It's all in Chinese. No cars because everyone's asleep, right? This is for the Chinese traditional medicine, healthy. You go to sleep before midnight. And I'm sitting there with all my shit and thinking, so what do I do? Like, oh shit, it's a hulker. It's a random hulker. He's gone. I'm thinking, what do I do? I hear, excuse me, Hulker arrives. Hi, Hulker.
Hi.
Hulker, hold on.
Finish the...
Yeah, I'm going to finish the story real quick and introduce you, Hulker. So, I'm standing there on this platform, and I hear this, excuse me, perfect English. Okay? I turn, boom. There is a Chinese guy in a black suit. All right? He's got like the pencil tie, white shirt. He looks like Neo, but Chinese. No bags, nothing. He's just standing there. Now, granted, I may have not seen him. I looked. There was no one around. We're at an empty bus stop on a fucking highway. A high-rise highway. Boom, this guy, excuse me. You look like you need help. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do. I need to get to this place. He says, oh, let me see that, the card. He looks at it, he says, oh yeah, you need a taxi. Turns, boom, a taxi comes over the hill, pulls up. I'm like, holy shit, there's a taxi. He says, hold on a second. Goes full Chinese on this dude. Okay, listen, it'll only cost you this many RMB. That's the people's money, for people that don't know. The Chinese money, the RMB. Should cost you this much. This man will take you where you need to go. He helps me with my bags. All right, thanks. I get in the taxi. Now, I'm so shell-shocked. I don't think about it. I get to the hostel, get in, everything's fine. Everything's cool. And I'm thinking, oh, holy shit, that was awesome. Fast forward about 5 years. I'm in America, And someone asked me, they're like, so when you were in China, how'd you get around? And I was like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, there's this story when I went to Beijing. I'm an idiot. I didn't know where to go. And I retold the story. And I was like, what the fuck did I encounter? So, take that as you may.
Weird.
Now, it's completely plausible that
Absolutely.
the dude was, who knows? But when I thought about it, I was like, I cannot explain. And many times in my journeys, we'll call them, I cannot rightly explain why I got to the place, but I did.
That is crazy.
Hey, Holker. Who
Yeah.
are you, Holker?
My name is
Who's our
Daniel
sponsor
Holker,
tonight?
and I am a participant in their games. And occasionally, when I get the chance, I pop into this podcast.
Oh, cool. I like gaming, by the way. Let me tell you this. I'm a
Holker,
fan.
this is Danny.
Nice to meet you, Holker.
Hello, Danny.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. So you guys play a lot of online stuff, right?
Yeah.
We play a role-playing game, yeah.
Okay.
It's not a video game.
Oh, cool. A role-playing game. So
Yeah.
I was always a little worried about playing video games online, because
yeah.
most time when I play video games, it's to get away from people.
Right.
And
Yeah.
also, like when you play online, I wasn't into some 9-year-old calling my mama a whore. So,
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's a tough one.
it's a tough one to roll with. But, do you guys do like a D&D type of thing?
It's kind of like D&D.
We do one better than D&D.
It's better.
Okay. I love that, dude.
So I wrote a book. It's a tabletop role-playing game called DreadLore. And if you want to know about it, it's dreadlore.com. That is the game they play.
Okay. Yeah, I want to share something super geeky with you guys, okay? And this is back in the 80s, whenever only people did the only game you ever heard of like role-playing game was D&D.
Yeah, of
back
course.
in the 80s, because,
Of course.
it was killing people.
Of course
you know?
it was.
Yeah,
But,
satanic.
but me and one of my dear friends, Marlon, we were big wrestling fans in the 80s.
Well, fuck yeah.
Diehard wrestling fans, and we created our own, basically role-playing D&D type wrestling. It was more or less him, but he figured out a score system. Just there was so much cool stuff that he came up with, and dude, it was fun as hell. You know, and this was and that just opened me up to those type of games that I've and they may have been around some of like the Magic the Gathering and a lot of this stuff, but I'm sure. But I guess there was when would you say the period was that those kind of games exploded? That it
2015.
Yeah, super.
I would say when Critical Role blew up.
Yeah.
Matt Mercer and all those guys with what was it? Oh, it was on Twitch. What's the fucking name? Shit. My brain is not working right now. It's not firing on all four cylinders.
The Mighty Nine.
Geek and Sundry. Geek and Sundry.
Geek and Sundry. Oh yeah, yeah. I like their I like the Geek and Sundry movies. Or they did an internet TV show that was really wonderful.
No,
I
it
was
wasn't.
so in love with that lady.
It was.
Speaking of movies, can I give a shameless plug real
Do
quick?
it.
Please.
Do it.
It's a video game. Okay, so there's a movie you guys need to go check out on Amazon Prime. Hell, I even think it's on Tubi. So go to Tubi; it's free there.
Is it WJHC
Yes.
AM?
Yes, and you know what the WJHC stands for?
What is it?
I have
figured it.
what Jesus has Christ? I don't know.
Jesus H. Christ, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like,
There you go. Come on, Kentucky. Yeah, but what it is, it's a movie that takes place in 1999 and before Y2K.
Oh,
And
sure.
Nice.
a smart-ass DJ moves down to Tennessee from up north, and the only place where he can get a gig at is at a Christian radio station. And in 1999, everybody is calling into the radio station thinking the rapture is going to come.
Of course,
the end of
Yep.
the world.
because it did.
Well, it turns out the end of the world does happen, and the zombie apocalypse takes place. And anyways, I play the part in this movie as I'm a radio preacher, but I'm a faith healer, and I'm obsessed.
And you don't get raptured.
Well, here's the thing. I'm obsessed with the video game Street Fighter 2.
Fuck yeah.
So whenever I heal people, I Hadouken.
Yeah,
So
you
I
do.
shoot invisible fireballs at them, and they fall out and shake and shiver. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
there's the good game. There's a good game. Street Fighter 2. But
Yeah, I would go on.
Go for it.
Yeah, I would say that D&D and just tabletop role-playing games in general, I mean, there were a lot of them that were burgeoning through the 90s, but it became mainstream, I would say, with Critical Role, and Felicia Day is the lady you're talking about. She, I don't know if she wrote, but I believe she wrote this YouTube aristocracy style
Oh, so good.
deal called The Guild, and it's about
was bad.
MMOGs like Warcraft, World of Warcraft and stuff.
Mhm.
Really, really good. That's kind of when it became cool, quotes, to be a D&D person. Yeah, D&D is cool. It is a very
I think-
heady game, but
I think on a creative level, man, I think it's amazing, and it just kind of, there's so many cool things about it, dude. If I
Would you
had more
ever-
time, it's something I wouldn't mind getting into myself, because I had
you
so
want
much
to play? You want to play
back
on
in
one Monday?
Play on one
Monday night?
Monday. I may be out of town. But
Not
Not
this
this
hey,
Monday. Some
You guys
No,
Monday.
we're covered some future Monday.
Monday.
Monday-
future Monday,
Monday's when we play.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, we'll pop in and play.
Do you think comedy, like, do you think a group of friends is where you test out like your first comedy bits? Like, if you're surrounded by people you're comfortable with, at home, do you think that would be a great place to, during a game where you're pretending to be someone else? Do you think that's a good place for comedy?
You
I
can
don't know if
possibly
this is
do
a
that.
weird-
First of all, comics know when other comics are doing that shit to them. You're like, you son of a bitch, you're testing out a bit, But
Right.
but I mean, for somebody who's interested, maybe into getting into that, if you want to throw your bits out there. Now, granted, your friends are going to think you're funny because they're your friends.
Right.
This is the thing. If you ever want to get started in that, see how you can relate to total strangers, because whenever people find something that they can relate to you with, that's when they pay attention to you. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, maybe, maybe if you get hell, I always say, dude, just go to an open mic, write a few jokes down, and hop up on an open mic. And, if you eat a bag of balls, you eat a bag of balls. Who cares? You lived,
I definitely went to a number of Second City open mic shows in my day, and I never had the guts. I couldn't. It was
Next
like
time
I
I'm
didn't
in
have
Bowling
material.
Green, next time
I didn't have material.
come to the show. I'm gonna bring you up, and we'll let you do a solid.
Oh,
job.
absolutely. I mean, next time you're in Lexington, I mean, I live
Absolutely.
in both cities. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So Holker, what you have missed. Couple things I'm gonna out Holker as I do. So, Danny, Holker
Oh yeah.
in a past life did stand-up comedy.
Nice.
Holker,
What?
would you like to tell Danny what your bit was? Or one of them, I should say.
I would get on stage and
Holker's always doing his bit, basically.
so okay. The first one I did is I tried to solicit money to fund a movie. I thought it was a cool concept. This was back in 2012. I thought it would be cool if, like, Marty McFly went, like, it hit the wrong number and hit 2012 instead of 2015. And he ended up in 2012, and he was really, really broke because even though he had a lot of money that he tried to take with him, inflation, right? Right. And
He's also an economist, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it would be cool if, like, instead of doing stuff that he did in like the other movies, he started playing World of Warcraft.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody
Right.
He
would.
was like, yeah, let's just play video games.
And then he lost his character, but he realized that if he could set his flux capacitor to go back an hour, right, he might be able to stop that. He might be able to stop his character from dying in World of Warcraft. And he goes back, he logs on, and like his character and his current character, like they meet in the World of Warcraft, right? And they like tear a hole in the space-time continuum of the World of Warcraft, and it propagates, just takes out all the backups, and like there's no World of Warcraft. And he thinks at this point that he can defect to East Germany, but it doesn't really work out.
So Hoker would go. Hoker would go on stage.
It's at the time.
He would go on stage, and there was once where he read 50 Shades of Grey.
Before the movie.
What was it? Before, right? It was 50 Shades of Grey, but you were also doing like a Rubik's Cube or something.
Yeah, it was
the most awkward thing in the world, and then it was amazing. It was amazing, and he stopped. He quit.
He stopped doing it.
The problem, the problem with that career choice is I was making so much money that I was running out of tax deductions that I could actually take, right? Because that tends to happen when you go into comedy. It's such a problem, and I had to keep my income down, so I had to kind of walk away.
So Danny,
A lot of write-offs.
Tell us, how is it making comedy and being a magician? How do you make that a career?
Hey, that's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's with anything, any type of entrepreneur, any type of own business. A lot of people are terrified to do their own thing because they like that comfort of having a 9-to-5, showing up, being a heartbeat. Basically, you can show up to your 9-to-5 job and you could just be a mannequin for 8 hours and you get that paycheck. You got that sick day. You like that stuff, that security, I think in order to be a full-time anything, you got to hustle. You've got to, I don't eat if I don't get booked. I don't pay my bills if I don't get booked. So, you have to look at it from that point of view too, so the career can happen. You just got to be, it's either swim or drown type of thing. But I will say this, nothing against anybody with a 9-to-5 job or anything like that, but you think you're secure in your 9-to-5 job, but realistically, fellas, you're not. You're a bolt, you're a screw, and when you wear out, they're going to replace you with another one. Hopefully you guys are smart enough to take advantage of the time you got, make as much money as you can, and when they come to screw you, be ready to screw them.
I like where this is going.
So that's kind of my point, but it can be done.
Take them down.
It can definitely be done, man.
Yeah, you got to hustle, is what you're saying.
It's just that you're constantly.
That's my experience as a freelancer. I've worked a few full-time jobs in my life, and I would always get screwed over when I was fired. But when I was freelance and had 5 or 10 clients, or was kind of master my own domain, not to steal that from Seinfeld, it was a different story because I never went hungry. I was always kind of like working on this and that and the other.
I'm out. No, that's no. That's what Kramer did. Like he was in the campaign or in the contest, and then next scene he said, "I'm out."
Yeah, he's out. That's correct.
Well, I mean, like I said though, but and I get people who don't want to give up their 9 to 5 or their career, or or these things, but to make a career in entertainment, it is tough. You learn a lot of things. Your goal as an entertainer, you don't want to wind up being an old bitter man, an old bitter woman.
Ooh.
It can definitely happen because you see, you see opportunities given not on the merit of talent. Okay, just to be completely honest with you, there's people that get opportunities, and show business don't have anything to do with talent. Despite what people may think, it doesn't. And
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're in front of the camera, behind the camera. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. So there's realities you got to accept, and you just got to roll with it. But I mean, one thing I will say, I'm lucky that I live in a day and age to where there are gatekeeping, and there are people that's going to be like, screw your dreams. But then there's also an opportunity due to stuff like what we're doing right now, where you can still put your garbage out there. You can still put your work out there, and no one can really tell you no. They can shit on it all day long. Like I said, little Timmy can call your mama a whore, but but at the end of the day, you can put your work out there, and so it's up to you, basically, in show business, how much if you want to make it work or not.
Can I take the? Oh, go ahead.
Let me do the chat really quick.
You do it.
So we got Buck Mud and Soupy on the chat right now.
Jones.
I love
Buck Mud says, let's see, what is it? He says, I really hope that the dude and the cab driver were just amateur actors from my story. To be fair, 9-year-olds calling my mama a whore is pretty funny.
That's very funny, by the way.
It's disturbing. I mean, when they start talking about sex to you, like I've sat next to some 9-year-olds that were not my kids or related, and just on a job, and they'll just unload some shit about sexuality, and it's really it's probably about as uncomfortable. Like, adults can't make me feel that uncomfortable.
Do you know what's nuts these days? This is so crazy. Is like a lot of the kids, younger kids, is they're more aware about sexuality than what I believe we were. I mean, I had no clue, and it's like, what did my daughter tell me? Dude, I don't even know the name of it. I can't even pronounce it. She was talking about one of her friends, and they identify as this, and I'm like, well, what the hell's that? And then she told me, I was like, well, isn't that bisexual? No, not really, Dad. And I'm like, what? So I can't keep up with all of them, but it just blows me away. I was like, when I was your age, I wanted to get high. I mean, what's going on? So
just because we were bored a lot. I don't know. I grew up in the 80s. I remember being bored.
Me too.
Kids don't get to be bored anymore. That's not a luxury that they have.
Let me say this. I got to say that you are absolutely correct. And here's the thing. That is sad that kids aren't bored no more. It's sad that no one is, because we have a cure for boredom right away, And as soon as we get bored, we've got a phone, a screen in our face, and we can watch another video, this. And this is what sucks about not being bored anymore. Boredom is the #1 recipe to creativity. And, I know I sound like the old man griping here, but I'm afraid of art, creative art.
No, you're right. Necessity breeds innovation. So if you are bored, you have to, for example, if you were an only child, or if you were a child that everyone else was a different age or whatever. For example, I've got an older brother, but there was a period of my life that my older brother he's the older brother. Like, he's got his own friends, and I'm like some fuck off 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old. If you're 18, 19 years old, you want to hang out with your 11, 12-year-old brother, right? But what that occurred, or what that caused to occur, was I am never bored. Ever. Why? Because within me, I will have something to do. By the way, Soupy says, "Hi, Danny."
What's up, Soupy?
And Buck Mud said, Holker is just like Andy Kaufman in that regard. He said the one that he saw in person was brilliant.
Dude, that
And
is
it was.
one of the highest compliments of all time, brother.
Dude, Holker's got something going on. Although, well, I will not out Holker too much. The 9 to 5, man, I understand that very well. I had a 9 to 5 for about 13 and a half minutes. And I was making a little bit of money and it was good. And when I told Holker that I was going to go back to China, he gave me this look, Holker. That was the look. And he was like, "Why are you doing this? You finally accomplished something with things." And I was like, "Yeah, but I gotta go. I got stuff to do." So I went and fucked off to China again, and then decided to become an actor, which is.
So that's what you're doing in LA. You're an actor?
That's what I'm doing in LA. Actually, I'm podcasting a lot,
Nice.
and I'm acting, but we're not talking about me. My point is, the idea of making your own whatever, instead of just getting someone else rich, diving
Absolutely.
headfirst, or
As Lloyd Kaufman said, make your own damn movie.
that at the same time, people that are doing the 9 to 5, and Holker, tell me where I'm wrong here. I don't know if it's the safe route. I think what it is they're investing in something else.
I agree. That's what I think. That's a very well said.
If
I
you're
think
doing
there's. Go ahead.
if you're doing the 9 to 5 and your plan is to grow as in terms of your skill sets, and to just be in a much better position, I think it's not a bad thing. I think the issue is where people become complacent, and I think that like you said, Danny, that I think people who just think the job is always going to be there and have no backup plan, and they're not like a little scared. Yeah, there's a good chance they'll end up one day and out on their ass, and they'll have to make something happen, and it won't be easy. But for people who don't see it that way, who will have, I guess, a backup plan, or is willing to maybe not jump ship, but is prepared for the worst. Okay, I think they'll be fine.
I think those
Holker's
people.
not going.
You should always do that. You should always prepare for, because I mean, you know how shitty human beings are. Well, that's who run that's who run companies. That's who do these things. So, I always get a kick out of the company man. That guy, those people, and I'm like, bless your heart. At less than 2 years after you retire, Debbie, no one's gonna remember you.
Debbie.
No one.
Or Debbie.
No one gives a shit.
Well, I've got
But
two things to say. I'm sorry. Hold on. Two things to say. Ken, go ahead.
They're accomplishing something, whereas these corporate conglomerates and stuff like that, there is an accomplishment as a team and as a massive group. America was built off of factories and off of big, huge. You don't do the big, huge endeavors as a comedian. And I'm going to hit you a little bit. Is there artistic guilt for not being? Do you have that? Because I know that Bill and I have talked about this before, but do you ever have a guilt or an issue, and how do you overcome that if you do?
What do you mean, artistic guilt towards? I mean,
well, if you feel like you're not participating, this is like dad talking. If you're not accomplishing like the next innovation or the next,
of course, there's I mean, that's with anything you do, I mean, because it's almost like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think about all the time. 10 years from now, am I going to be able to do this? 10 years from now, am I going to be able to drive all over the place? Am I going to want to feel like, when you get, if you've got a show Saturday night at 8 o'clock and you feel like shit or you've had a bad day, well, dude, too bad. You know, you get up there and you turn it on and you're the dancing monkey, you know? Am I going to want to feel like doing it when I'm 60? And am I smart enough to put my own money back for savings? You know, I don't have a 401k, you know? So
you could have a Roth IRA though. I'm just
absolutely. Well, you know, that's the whole thing. But, you know, I've got some royalties that I'm treating like a retirement plan, you know,
which you should.
But
Good.
a lot of people don't think that way. So, I mean, yeah, there is that guilt, you know. I mean, there is times because I think there's a lot of fantastic comics entertainers that we've never heard of that were amazing. They died sleeping on a couch somewhere or homeless or in a hotel room.
That was their sacrifice, baby. I'm just.
And you know what? That's exactly right.
But
Exactly
you know
what it is.
I had a couple jokes, but whatever, doesn't matter. Had to do with
I ruined your jokes.
I know.
There's
ruined your
always
joke.
money.
They were really good. They were really good anyway.
I didn't want you to move forward. So that leads me to.
Ben, I don't move forward.
I didn't want. No, I mean I didn't want you to. If you succeed before I do, you know.
Soupy says, job security is a myth. I've heard that changing jobs every 2 to 3 years is the way to go. What do you guys think about that?
That's
Always
what
on
they
the
do
hunt.
nowadays. That's what they do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that these days. You know,
You gotta find a new job before you're fired. You get that job, you look for another one. That becomes another resume line item that gets you into the next one because the AI, they'll look at your resume and they know. Speaking of finding another job, did we talk about this? Like, how do you get your jobs? Like, are you calling? Are you calling clubs? Are you on? Do you have an agent?
Well, yeah, I work with some agencies. Also, you know, you send emails. You're constantly sending emails out to venues. I get a lot of corporate, a lot of private, man. I do a lot of private shows too. You know, that's where.
What was it like? What was it like working for the Baked Bean Company? I mean, that was.
Oh, fantastic, man. The
Bush's Baked Beans.
Yeah, Bush's Baked Beans. That was great. The you know what was interesting when they booked me for that? They put me in the original Bush's home. Okay, they've got that set up for guests that they stay in it, you know. And first of all, you talk about haunted. Yeah, that bitch is haunted. But it was wonderful. No, man, it was wonderful. We stayed in the Bush home, and you know, I did 3 shows out there for them. Fantastic crowd.
Did they make you any beans?
Hey, Bowling Green,
You got a
what
bean
are you all
museum.
talking about? Bush what?
I mean, did they give you some baked beans to eat?
what in
like-
God's name are you talking about?
Bush's Baked Beans, corporate show I did for Bush's.
Bush's gigs are great. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Bush, Talking
Were they-
Dog.
Were they wearing suits?
I think some of them, you know, hell, but I was there for the employees, you know.
They're a bean company and they wear suits.
Dude,
It
absolutely.
just it's weird.
But I will say this, dude. It had the most rancid smell.
Oh
and
yeah,
which was ironic. But
Yeah, it is.
I
it's appropriate.
don't know what the damn smell is, but it really reminded me of the you're in bourbon country, you know. It reminded me of like one of those bourbon places. If you get too close, it's got that weird.
Oh, those are great.
fermented
I love it.
smell.
It smells like Cheerios to me.
I used to rent an apartment down by the river in Frankfurt, and I used to smell bourbon or whatever it is they were cooking up on
The Kentucky River is like 75% bourbon.
Yeah, it's
Pretty sure.
Don't drink the water. It'll
just,
kill you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the Kentucky River. That's good.
Yeah.
Tennessee River is 75% hepatitis.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
because it comes
true.
out of Kentucky. Anyway, right. So what we were talking about, ghosts.
We went from ghosts, we went everywhere.
Yeah, but the reason that Holker jumped in, all right, is because I messaged him. He was like, "Oh, hey, I might be on." This is not how Holker talks. He
Love it
said,
when you play
"Hey,
other
I might be."
people.
I'm not gonna do Holker in front of Holker. He said, "Hey, I might jump on," and I was like, "Well, this dude, Danny, He's the host of Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, which can be found on Spotify.
It's Spotify. We stream live on YouTube, and actually, we haven't announced it yet, but I just got word that we're moving to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays on
6
streaming live
p.m.
on
on
YouTube.
Tuesdays.
Does it stream directly into the consciousness of a select listener who takes these messages very personally and realizes that he might also be talking straight directly to God?
Possibly, absolutely. I will. You guys want to hear a crazy one real quick?
We want to hear it.
This happened last episode, and you guys can go watch this episode if you want to. Okay. I had a guy on. Oh, what was his name? Damn it, dude! I'm sorry. I apologize. I can't remember the name.
That's a wild name.
But he called this upsight vision, is what he calls it, and basically,
What?
he sees like images, like holograms, and he sees things from that hasn't happened yet. If you want to call it psychic phenomena,
That's that 4D
whatever.
shit, man.
But he's been like, they've actually studied him at the Ions Academy, and they've done a lot of testing on him and stuff. That's a place where the government funds these things. So the guy's got some legitimacy. He's not just some crackpot.
Yeah.
Is it Tom Matt?
Yes, Tom Matt.
Is he the dude who is he British?
No.
Good. He's not Canadian, is he?
No,
Yeah.
he's not Canadian either. Actually, you know what? Tom Matt, I think he's in Georgia, so he's not too far at all.
Okay.
But this was interesting, and I didn't even tell him this. I haven't even told him this. But this was last week, and before we got off the show, I said, Tom, when was the last upsight vision that you did? He goes, well, hell, I can do one right now. And I said, well, let's do it. Let's do it right now. This would be great.
Whoa.
And this is what he says. He goes, okay, I don't know what this means. It makes no sense to me, but I'm seeing a guy in a bowling alley. He's getting the bowling ball. He's bowling, and it's a gutter ball. He goes, he starts laughing. He goes, I don't know what that means, but this might have some type of correlation to somebody watching. You just give it a few days, you'll see. I don't know. Well, I didn't think nothing of it. Once again, I made The Big Lebowski. I was like, boom, it's one of my favorite movies.
Why not?
Well, then this though. Tell me you guys' opinion on this. What do you think? So, I'm doing the old social media thing where I'm having to post my show. And where was I last weekend?
Fucking Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. Where am I now? Bowling Green. Yeah.
Bowling Green. So I thought of it, and I was like, well, that's interesting. Now let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He could have Googled me before the show, and he could have saw where I was going to be. That's rational thinking 101. Or he
Did you bomb?
What's that? No.
Did you bomb?
No.
Well, that's not a gutter.
It was a great show. It was this is the only thing that I can correlate with that is, and I mean, I'm kind of reaching here too. I'm reaching here, but Bowling Green, was he thinking like green as no good, as being new to something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying. Well, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, Bowling Green came from like the idea of like I guess they had a flat area and it was grass, but they didn't have bowling alleys at the time, and they just bowled on the grass. I don't know.
On the grass. That's how they did it. Holker, any thoughts?
Maybe that's it.
I would like to add to your bowling story. One of our caretakers' nephews is a bowling professional. Like he's like a 16-year-old who's like number 9 and bowls like a 270 or something like that.
Really, really good. So anyone who knows, 300 is perfect.
Yeah. So that was a story that I had last week. I mean, how often do people they bowl? Bowling is a big deal.
Bowling for weekend.
I do want to talk about a technique. Bring it back to kind of like magic here for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, do it.
Tom, like I said, he was a great guest. There's 3 things here. Possibly he could be full of shit and he could have Googled me and it just made up that story. Okay, I don't want to think that, but let's put everything out there. 2, he could be the real deal and he nailed it and didn't realize he nailed it. Okay. Or 3, he could have been telling me exactly what he saw and it may not have nothing to do with me. I was just, looking for something to connect with, But I will say this, okay, and this is in the land of magic and mentalism. There's a technique that, and not to expose anything, but there's a technique in mentalism to where it's the 80% rule. It's to where they don't get it 100% right, but they get 80% of it right, and then they let you do the rest of the homework. And when that happens, that makes the experience more powerful on your end. Okay,
Right, 'cause
now
they did it.
absolutely. So I'm thinking, and by me saying Tom did that, I think I'm giving him way too much credit, because that's some master degree level mentalism stuff. It's not that, it's not your average day YouTube Google magic trick.
Right.
So but with the bowling vision, and then the bowling green is kind of, he threw 80% out there and I had to put the rest together.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot of synchronicity.
it is. But to say anything, like I said before, the most I can say was, that's interesting.
Yeah. I dated this girl from Germany who, in the early aughts, my prior roommate,
chicks, bro, both of you.
Yeah.
Go for it. Sorry.
my roommate prior to, he moved to Germany. He was in the army, or he was in the tank division, and he dated the same girl in Germany, my
Tank
college
girls.
roommate. And so, like, but we didn't know this. I was like making a joke. Oh, did you know this guy? And she was like, yeah, I dated him. I was like, no. And then it turns out it's the same guy. And it's just like small world.
And then
Like things
that was the
happen.
end.
Brother, that's a bit right there. There's funny.
Tank bros right there.
There's funny. there.
We were definitely tanked. But never. I mean, now that you said that, oh my God, you've made this world even smaller to me, because like, okay, this is a long time ago. But there's synchronicity in this world, and I'm sure as you travel as a comedian from place to place, you run into a lot of people and things and places that can take you around in this weird circle.
Absolutely. Like two
Is
Waffle
that is that two Waffle Houses?
2 Waffle Houses. I'm seeing 2 Waffle Houses.
Dude, if he would have said that, holy hell, can you imagine?
Mirrored side
You're
by
right.
side.
I would have lost my
That's-
damn mind.
That's real. I mean, we've joked about those Waffle Houses. When you told that joke, I was like, yeah, been
Waffle
there.
House is the bomb. For 1 year, for my birthday, Holker gifted me a Waffle House mug,
Damn.
and it is glorious. I love it. I
So
love
Hulk,
the sync-
is Hulk
The
in the bowling alley?
synchronicity.
it. He's
the
in.
bowling
He's
green?
in. Holker is the bowling alley.
The synchronicity about the Waffle House is Bill loves Waffle House. That's his favorite.
It's not my favorite. I do like
So
it.
you got us both. That's his favorite restaurant. He's in pain not being there right now.
It's pretty rough. I've been going to Denny's, and listen, I like Denny's, but
Denny's is not the same.
it's not the same. It's not the same. Let's take a 5-minute break, right?
All right.
Get some
We'll
water,
take a-
refill the bourbon. You want to do a 10-minute break?
I mean,
Is that what you're
I will
the
tell you,
10 is. Go ahead.
Say 5.
I am running a little close on time here.
How much time you got,
I
man?
think-
So I mean, are you guys doing a 5 or a 10? What do you want to do? I mean,
We can do a 10. We can do a
Or
5.
we could keep going. We could just keep going. If you're ready to keep going, Hulker and I can just manage it.
True.
well, I mean, realistically, I probably got about 10 more minutes, and I do.
All
need
right.
to-
You guys continue. I'm gonna go pee, and
He's gonna-
I'll be right back.
Go pee. So, we were talking about. I'm a big fan of depression.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Does depression, does comedy get you out of depression? Do you exploit it? Do you have depression? Do all comics have depression?
I think most of your comics do. It is a real thing. From pain is where you pull your humor most of the times. I don't care who you are. There's not a comic that ain't that if you had an amazing childhood, you're not going to be a comic. So if everything was perfect as a child, you're probably not going to be a comic. You're going to be maybe a CEO or something, but you're not going to be a comic. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a coping mechanism that most of us learn as children of how to deal with those things, and eventually it comes out. But I mean, would I say I'm a depressed person now? I don't think I walk around not knowing while I'm depressed. You know what I mean? But my creativity, writing jokes, humor, that is a way to cope and shield with stuff like that. Yeah.
And so do you think you're better off, like, emotionally because of comedy, because of doing this? Or do you think if you didn't do comedy, do you supplement into comedy, basically?
Well, I think definitely better off if I didn't have this. And luckily, I do have an amazing family. Now, I am blessed to have an amazing wife and wonderful children. But if it was just me, and I didn't do this, I don't know. We don't know where I'd be.
And do you think that kids with depression, do you think it's a thing that maybe they should have in schools or something like that, to where you get up in front of a group and do this sort of thing as maybe a, whatever it is the kids do, a club or something like that?
I think it's great. And I make my son was in Maskers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In acting, he was and did plays, and he was wonderful. He was super talented in it. And I hope my daughter does the same thing, because I think anytime that you can get in front of an audience and perform in any ways, it gives you this level of self-confidence that I don't think you can get anywhere else. And it's also a skill that you can take with you the rest of your life. Even if you do want to go to that 9-to-5 job, you've got this skill. You've got these things. So I think it would be great if they taught more of performing arts, and how to deal with these situations. You know what I mean? To find the humor in things. And we say it all the time. People will they say punch up, don't punch down. There's nothing funny about a homeless guy, but there isn't. You know what I mean? If you've got the skill level to find that funny thing about the homeless guy, fantastic, then you're good. If you're saying it because it's going to be mean for the moment, no, that's hacky. You're a douche.
Sure.
There's funny in every topic, even depression, even sadness.
Sure. Are there any subjects that comedians should not talk about, like when you're doing a set?
Well, no, but there's nothing that, the comedian as a whole. But most comics aren't. There's some topics that most comics are not good enough to talk about. I think Dave Chappelle is talented enough to where he can talk about anything he wants to. Mm-hmm. And I think I also, and I'll say this too. I think this always bugs me when white people complain about black people using the N-word. And I'm like, for God's sakes, Whitey, you got everything. You have everything. Can we give them one word? Do you have to have that too? But no, I think on some levels, especially black comics got a little more freedom to say a little bit more, just based on the shitty history that they've had to endure in this country.
So there's more freedom of speech the more shit you've dealt with.
I think so, to a certain extent. You know what I mean?
Like a black woman from a war zone where
Absolutely.
she was exploited, can say anything. There's nothing
I
off
mean-
board. If
I mean-
she says something, it is totally game.
For the most part, there's things that they can say. I think that they've got more freedom a little more freedom to say. Now, granted, there's some things you shouldn't say if whatever the hell you are, and you've got to be super funny to make some topics funny. You know, you got.
It would probably be better if she had good timing.
And timing is everything. If you want to know the
Timing
truth,
is
too, that's the truth. Learning your timing.
Do you okay, topic jump. How did you get a Guinness Book of World Record?
That was a cool experience. A few years ago, there was comics. I want to say it was back in 2015. A comic, Chad Ryden was his name, and DJ Buckley out of Nashville, Tennessee, came up with the craziest, dumbest idea in the world of having the longest running comedy show ever. So it was an ongoing comedy show of like 186 hours or something like that, nonstop. This is a nonstop comedy show.
It's almost a week.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely. And so we all got to participate and play a part, and this thing had to keep going, you know, and you couldn't get up there and bomb. And I got to participate in that and help, you know, them break the world record. So that was a super cool moment that you know, I got to participate in. But comics from everywhere were coming in to perform on that too. It was pretty badass.
Where did that take place?
It took place at the East Room in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, nice. The East Room, that's a pretty cool venue. I've been to a lot of shows there.
Yeah,
that's definitely
So and it was pretty cool experience, man. So I always got to toss that out there.
Do you have any questions, Hulker? Do you have any thoughts?
No.
So, Zach Galifianakis.
Love him.
But you don't do that to your audience or your people.
You mean like
like making somebody feel uncomfortable on purpose?
No, okay. My show, no, I that's one thing I don't do. I don't. My show is very interactive, though. It is very interactive. And
Do you do crowd work, or is that different?
Well, it's a form of crowd, because, you know, being a comedian / magician, I bring people up there with me. You know, so you know, my show, I do tell actual stand-up bits. And then there's correlation. You'll watch the show, and there'll be a callback in my show, but in disguise of a magic trick. So something amazing will happen, and then you'll also get a callback to a joke, and you'll be like, oh, you know, and then the crowd they get it, and they, you know, so, but there's times that I don't mess with people or embarrass them or hurt them. Like, there's one routine that I do I bring two people up on stage, and the audience is laughing at them, okay? The people on stage have no clue what they're laughing at. But then at the end of the routine, the joke's on the audience.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, it's gold. And I love it. And I'm like, no, you assholes. You guys, these people are the cool ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I love doing stuff like that. And there's times that I've brought people up, and there's two people you do not ever want to bring up on stage. You don't want to bring the person's dying to come up. Like, I want to screw you up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't want to pick the person who's deathly afraid, because
you
don't want them to be in therapy because of you, you know?
Yeah.
The only time that I ever make anybody look stupid is if they try to make me look stupid.
Hecklers?
What's that? Yeah, hecklers. Yeah. If you get a heckler, which,
fuck them.
luckily I don't get a whole lot. I don't, but you know, if you do, you know.
I'm guessing one of your shows, it's like a party, so everybody's kind of in and it's fun, and you probably don't give people enough time to heckle. I bet you go from one thing to another, and it's just like a lot of movement. It's very awake and it's very
Absolutely.
upbeat. I mean, from the clip that I've been playing, it's just like you are moving around and putting 110. How much weight do you lose every show?
You know what's hilarious, dude? This is hilarious. First of all, dude, ever since freaking COVID, man, I packed on weight and I look like a freaking ham, you know? And I'm getting older and I'm having a hard time losing this. I've got to lose weight, dude. I totally got to lose weight. But every time I'm on stage, I sweat my ass off, you know? And I'm like, gosh, you know, if I could just, you know, if this just would happen every day, you know? But, dude, I'm wore out. I give, and keep in mind, dude, I feel gross saying this, talking about myself. It's freaking disgusting, you know? But I give 110% when I'm up there. You know, I want people to have a good time. It's high energy. There's no sleeping at the show. You're not going to sleep at my show. And in most cases, you're right, though. I don't give people time to heckle. You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last heckler that I actually really had. Now, I've had people come up and try to say something clever, you know? Yeah. And then, you know, basically I shut them up, you know.
Where's your next show?
My next show, I am going to be...
Shows.
I'm going to be at the Thistle and Briar, and that's actually a Thistle and Briar. It's actually a local show.
Oh.
And then I'm going to be at the I'm going to be at 1901 or 1907. I'm gonna jack it up, dude. I gotta go read it. But I've actually, and then, you know, I've got some private corporate. I'm gonna be in Atlanta here in a few weeks. Moving.
How do you drive, dude? How do you drive in Atlanta? I mean, what is your secret?
No, nobody does.
No, it's
nobody does.
What's your secret?
Nobody drives in Atlanta.
Watch Tron and imitate.
We're LA. No one drives in LA either.
Yeah, everybody drives in LA.
After 10 o'clock, they drive. Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., people drive.
I beg to differ. Everyone in the world, I feel like they import cars. Like here, like Teslas pop out of the goddamn ground, like driving around. It's like, hey, look, a fucking Tesla. Oh my god.
You know what, man? I used to want one of those, but now I'm starting to hate them.
No, you want to punch a motherfucker in the face for driving it, unless it's the Cybertruck.
I would love a Tesla in LA traffic. I would love a Tesla in LA.
No, it'd be great. It'd be great.
I'm not the biggest fan of Elon Musk. I don't really care. I don't want to get into it because I know that Bill loves Elon Musk. But
you're
whatever.
a bad
It doesn't matter. None of this matters. I want a Tesla because if I lived in LA, I would want it to do that. Like, it figures out, it stays in the lanes, and you don't have to hit. My knee would hurt because stop and go, and I think the people in the Teslas,
you're anxious. You gotta drive like you're from Kentucky. What happened to you? Listen, motherfucker, when I drive in LA, I'm like,
you don't. Yeah, but still, you got
2,000 RPM, motherfucker. I'm on the goddamn 101. If anybody doesn't know what the 101 is, it's a big old fuck all highway, which I avoid at all costs. I'm just like, people are like, fuck you, the Teslas. Yeah, sitting out. Fuck them. That was my dick.
That was my biggest culture shock first time out there, and seeing how people drive on the freeway. I was just like, damn, dude, this is
it's
nuts.
A free for all way.
Right.
Suki says, no thoughts, just vibes, Walker.
My Plymouth Grand Voyager broke down. My alternator went out on the 10. And that was the hardest driving I ever did because the car would keep dying. But fortunately for me, the traffic would stop. So if I could keep the car moving, like just a little bit, I could keep the car on. So that's when I learned how to like give space to the vehicles in front of me and like ease in.
Buck mode
traffic.
I don't see the point of owning a car in London.
Can I do this real quick before I get out?
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Let's do a. I'm gonna try to do a quick magic trick for everybody.
Well,
All right?
yeah, we were gonna ask you to anyway.
Yeah, like
All
where's
you
the
guys gotta
magic?
participate. Even you, Hulker.
What about Soupy and Buck Mud? Although they're on like a 20-second delay.
They could totally do this if they want to. I'm gonna turn my head to where I can't see what you're doing. Okay. But this is what I need to do, and this is also straight out of. I saw that. This is straight off my comedy magic album, Dirty Tricks. Okay. I'm gonna turn my head, and I want you guys to hold your hands up. Hold up one of your hands right here. You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Now this is what I want you to do. I want you to imagine have an invisible ring on your ring finger. Okay,
That's awful.
Okay. Now this is what I want you to do. I want you to remove that ring from your ring finger and place it on the finger closest to it. It can be either side. It doesn't matter. Either finger. Just place it onto a finger closest to it. You got it?
Yep.
All right, cool. We're gonna do it again. This time, take the ring off that finger and place it onto the finger closest to it. You got it?
Yep.
All right, now I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to say that ring is not on your thumb or your pinky. So lower those two fingers. Okay?
Oh, I know.
You got it? You got it? You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Now let's do it again. This time, take the ring off that finger and place it onto the finger closest to it. Got it? Now go ahead and lower the two fingers that don't have a ring on it. I'm picking up some negative energy here. Hold on. My upside vision. Jesus Christ. All right. There we go.
I love it.
I tell you what, man, guys, this has been a blast. Thank you for having me on.
Danny, got one more question for you. One more question.
Go for it.
One more question. What the fuck is going on behind you?
Dude, it is coming a freaking monsoon outside.
Oh yeah. No, I'm talking about the head.
Oh no, dude, this
head, man.
This is have you ever seen the movie They Live?
Yeah. Oh, the glasses. The Roddy Piper.
Absolutely. They Live, and then also we got our very own Danny Whitson Magic and Comedy Prank Kits. You can order from DannyWhitsonMagic.com.
There it is.
There we go.
Absolutely.
There it is.
But yeah, if you guys viewers, you guys want to hear Dirty Tricks, it's got stand up on it. It's got interactive magic tricks like that one right there that you can do while you listen. And it's got some original sketches that I wrote. So it's a Dirty Trick streaming on Spotify, Apple, everywhere.
Fuck yeah. So and we have all of your stuff in the description. Danny, thank you so much for jumping on, man.
Dude, this has been fun, guys. And
Danny, you've been fun.
Next time I'm in Bowling Green or Lexington or LA, when I'm out there,
Los Angeles.
I'll hit you up next time I'm in Knoxville for sure.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And yeah, dude, anytime you guys want to come on the tinfoil hat, hit me up. I'd love to guys.
Fuck yeah.
Some creepy stories. Holker, it was a pleasure meeting you, brother.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
If you're ever in Frankfort, Kentucky, you can stay with Holker. It's fine.
Why would you be there?
Awesome, man. You guys have been awesome, though, dude. Seriously, great podcast, man. I love it.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you for being here.
Ken, you want to lead us out, sir?
This lightning bolt of electricity of a podcast has been brought to you by it's the Geeky Gamer Podcast.
The Geeky Gamer Podcast.
With Danny Wilson. You can find more about him.
Up this time.
Danny Whitson Magic.com. I know I mispronounced your name. I realized the last time. Score by all lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt.
You shit the bed, Ken.
I know. Danny Whitson Magic.com. Thanks to our Patreon patreon.com slash DreadLore members, and you too can be a patreon.com slash DreadLore Patreon member, just like Tim Roberts, Daniel Hulker, Nostalgic, Natalia Cline, Danny, WhitsonMagic.com, and
Whitson.
thanks Couchfire Media for the art and media production, as well
Thanks,
as
Couchfire.
Twa
We don't need
Replay
to thank
production
them anymore. We don't need to thank
because
them
they're
anymore. I don't
so
like talking
funny.
about them.
I forgot to laugh. Did I steal somebody's joke? I don't think I did.
Oh, why?
Anyway, this has been the Geeky Gamer podcast with
Kick their
Danny
ass.
Whitson from DannyWhitsonMagic.com.
All right, guys. I'll see you next time.
Yep. See you, man.
Bye.